Well, hello. Hello and welcome to the Arts and Wellness Cafe. Welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. My name's Amanda and I'll be your host for the next, say, half an hour. Yes, we've got lots of things that we're going to go through. I'm going to, but you can join in. So in this episode we're going to be doing an art journal page, we'll do a book review, talk about the word for today, and I'll share with you some arty things that are coming up that you may be interested in. There's some free access to some lessons, there's some discounts on some lessons, and there's just some wonderful lessons going on. So I want to share that with you. So how have you been? Huh? How have you been? There's just one thing. Okay. Yeah, how have you been? It's been a, what's the word that's coming? The word challenging came, but it's not been challenging in that sense, in that regard. The challenge has come where you know where you need to make the next step, and it's about you preparing the way. It's about you saying goodbye to things. It's about you leaving some things behind, cutting some things off, and preparing the way and preparing your tools, the things that you'll need for the journey. So I see life as this continuous journey that we're on, and along the way we pick up tools for the next stage. We learn things, sometimes we go round in a circle and we come back and we think, I'm sure I've just been here, and it's for you to learn the lesson at that particular point, to then uncover the tools that you need for the next stage, and then you move on. So the word for today is remarkable. I was going to do there was a song that came to me as I thought of the word remarkable. Got to have fun with it, haven't you? So the word is remarkable. How do you feel? If somebody said to you, you're so remarkable, you're so wonderful. So it's that kind of amazing wrapped up with wonderful, wrapped up with a whole load of things that mean that there's something about you that is just different from what may be around you. And I sometimes feel this when as it's just coming to me, like, I'm sitting with fabric and I'm placing and things just sit right, or I get out my selection of beads and I'm working through and I'm thinking, oh, does that feel? And I look back and I sit back and I think, whoa, that's the first thing that came to mind when I'm thinking about that word. And maybe you should use it for yourself. Maybe you should say, do you know what, I'm pretty remarkable. Do you know what? That was a remarkable thing that I did just then. That painting is remarkable. That clay piece is remarkable. Now, there's an artist, I shared her on my Instagram, Melanie. She calls herself D'Olivier era art. She's a ceramicist, and I love this. She creates scenes out of clay, and they're really gorgeous. And she did one recently, and well, she's done many, but she's working through one. So I'll leave her link, and you can check her out. She's definitely. But think about that word, and think about how you would talk about yourself using that word. And maybe that's an affirmation that you need to use, because we all go through different times of our life, of the journey, where we may stub our toe, or we may feel,
oh, what's the point of this,
or
I can't be asked to do this,
or I'm not sure I want to do this, or
really, am I reading the map right? Have I been going in the wrong direction?
So you need to have that kind of affirmation that you will speak encouraging words to yourself, Because if you're not speaking encouraging words to yourself, then who is? You know, do you have a group of people around you that will encourage and be your like cheerleaders along the way, as opposed to, you know, mudslingers and fiery darts? It's just like, oh, oh, okay. So think about it and let me know how you would use the word in relation to your creativity. Yeah, so you can use it in the, you know, it was a remarkable dinner. I mean, do we use the word? I mean, it's not a word that I often use in my vocabulary, but perhaps this week it's something that I need to start saying about myself, big myself up. Why not? You know, come on, girl, you did so brilliant. Like yesterday, I managed to. Oh, I've got an Etsy store. And I've managed to upload some of my digital downloads, and I thought I sat back and I thought that's quite remarkable. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 digital products up there, some of my backgrounds, and I've been doing some of these vintage backgrounds, and they look really nice when you use them in collage or you use them in your art journal. So I was like, you finally focused and you sat down and you did what you said you were going to do. That is remarkable. I'm saying that now. Oh, thank you. Oh, don't worry. You're so remarkable. Oh, yes, go on, take it. You are remarkable, aren't you? Okay, I'll take it. So you have to, you have to big yourself up and encourage yourself. So we're now going to go and do an art journal page. It's the art journal page time, and we will be doing. I'll show you how I did this page. Now it's this particular page started out. It just had the face. It didn't have any of the embellishments that you can see, and so I just make something more of it. I did like altering it. I'm still not 100% in terms of, you know, whether there are anything else that I'll add. And I like the hot air balloon that was stamped on tissue paper. I created it from a foam stamp and then stamped it on the tissue paper, and then so you can use them, you know, you can use your tissue paper and you can use stamps in that way, and you know, obviously it's, you know, going behind her, and it's either it's coming to pick her up to take her off on an adventure, or she's literally just come from an adventure and she's just like, that was so good, and she's ready for the next. So yeah, we can tell this. Yeah, I think she may have, or she's either dreaming of the adventure, or she's just come from the adventure, and because she's got a little bit of a smile on her face, and so it's maybe, what kind of word do I put to express? Maybe remarkable is the word. That was a remarkable adventure. Yes. So now, while we're here, let's have the tip for the week. Tip for the week. Tip for the week. Okay, so the tip for the week is about taking timed naps. Now, when I first thought about naps, and I have talked about this before, but when I had thought about naps, it was something that the elderly did, and oh yes, you know, she's taking a nap. I never saw my mum take a nap. Yeah, I've never seen my mum take a nap. But as we've got older, I found that in my work, I spend a lot of time on the computer. So about 50% of my time is on the computer, because I'm not only here painting in the studio, I'm also, you know, writing, typing out things, scheduling things, writing notes, creating courses and things like that. And every now and again, like, my eyes will get tired. You know, you can imagine if you're focused on the computer and you've been there for like a couple of hours, you need to take a break. And often it's that you need to rest your eyes. So what I do is I take a nap. So I take a 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 or 20 minute time. I set it on my phone, the timer, and then it counts down, and then there's a gentle alarm when it is time to get up. But I found that, and it's something, yeah, so sorry, I found that I feel energized once I've had it. And the way I would do it is, you don't get into bed under the covers. You're not going to sleep. You're having a nap. It's just a short thing. You're not changing into your nightie. But you're just getting on the bed. If you've got a loose cover, like one of those soft, you know, one of those soft ones that feels like, oh, this is so gorgeous. So you get one of those, and you can just put over you, depending on where you are, and take your time and drift off. When I first started, it was like my mind was racing with things, and the more I did it, I found that I am able to go into not the nighttime sleep stage, but I go into a place where I'm rested. My eyes are totally rested. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm just thinking about, it's almost like, the way I do it is I think about like you're being enveloped in something, you know, like you're being enveloped, the bed is nice and soft. Just like the bed is nice and soft, and you just shut your eyes, you're relaxing everything. When you start relaxing your whole body, you then drift into, and I don't know what it's called, so those of you who are more expert in the sleep language, then you drift off, and then, as I say, it's a gentle alarm to wake, and you definitely feel rested, you feel rejuvenated. And the first few times you might think, oh no, I need another half an hour or whatever, but I found that when I was consistent and I said, okay, no, I'm getting up now, or before I get up, I'm going to take another 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then just go back. So again, it depends how much I've, like really been at the computer. Sometimes you do need to get yourself away and into another environment. And that's one of the other things I might do. So as opposed to take a nap, I might go and go out into the garden and walk about a bit. Cole appreciates it because he likes being out there, but sometimes he doesn't want to go out on his own. He like, you come in. You're like, you're a dog. You don't need me to come out with you, do you? He started doing that with his food. He'll eat half of his food and then he'll come in to the house to see where you are and stand there and look at you, and I'll say to him, have you finished? And when I go to look, there's still food in there. And he's looking at you, looking at the plate. And until I come out, after I come out of the door and then sit down outside, he'll then get on with eating his food. And it's just like, do you know what, we have not got time for this. But so that's the time nap. Try it out, and I've been doing it now for about a year, and it really does help because, well, no, more than a year, a couple of years, but more consistently in the last year because I've been spending more time on the computer. So and then recognising your cut-off point. Again, if you are doing that, you need to take a break away. So time nap is something that I've incorporated into my day-to-day, and I found it really helpful. So it may be something that you want to try. And take a look at the nap ministry, and I'll leave the details in the description. I'm just reminding myself. Right, okay, so let's have a look at a book review. Today we're looking at Creative Bloom, so without further ado, let's go and take a look. Creative Bloom, projects and inspiration with fabric and wire. Prepare your own garden of self-expression with creative fabric and wire projects inside Creative Bloom. Techniques that you can use again in your personal artwork. So Creative Bloom, it's by Jennifer Swift, and we'll go straight to the table of contents. It's split into 8 chapters, and the author uses references to the garden. And the thing I like about this book is that throughout the book, through each chapter, she refers to our creative growth. She refers to things like sowing the garden, preparing the soil, and she talks about the work that she did in her own garden and how she first started. So the chapters we have: clearing the soil, the tool shed, peeking over the fence, forcing growth, amending your soil, ornaments for your garden, creating a seasonal garden, planning your growing season. So when you look at the first chapter, clearing the soil, beginning the process of renewal, cultivating inspiration, prepare for planting. For me, that would be how gathering your supplies, thinking about the kind of supplies that you're going to need, thinking about the ideas that you come up with. And if you have a garden space, you can also work on that and look through that. So as it says, there's 21 projects that you can make, and throughout there are inspiring quotes that you can refer to. It gives you all the tools and materials and the kind of techniques that you'll be learning, and there are also additional tips that you can refer to in the book. So it's really useful in terms of just getting you to think of more. And then it also shares things like how do you then move on, so additional tips that you can cultivate more inspiration around that project. And once you've finished, it gives you some additional things that you can do where it says finishing the project. So it's full of lovely pictures, and I think most of the examples you get a real clear view of how to make it, and it's got quite detailed descriptions. So it's great to be able to, you can look at a project and you can think, okay, well, you may not necessarily have the same supplies, so you can adapt the supplies to suit, but it gives you some easy looking, I'm sure with practice, easy looking metal wire embellishments to make, and she does encourage that you kind of trace it out, because it's easier then to work from a drawing than it is to just try and imagine how you want it to be, unless you've done it before. Yeah, so there's some nice projects throughout, great tips, and as I say, I like the reference to your garden, inspiration in the garden, because for me, creativity and what you can be creative out in the garden, and it's a really nice way to refer to our creative growth. At the back we have a series of templates that you can use, and you can make your own. It's a good way to think about, okay, well, you've written create, dream, inspired, and think about some other words that you would like to do, and use the same kind of lettering that she's done on here. This book is by Northlight Books. So that's another one of the books that I haven't tried any of the projects, but I am going to soon. They're all stacking up saying, you know, you said you'd do us first, you know, come on, when are we going to get a chance? And anyway, yeah, so that's always been a challenge. So think about the remarkableness of your life, or the things that could make it more remarkable. And sometimes it doesn't have to be like this massive, okay, we've got to relocate and get a small island, but it could be just making some changes in your space, and just doing something different, or taking that opportunity, or saying yes to an opportunity, getting yourself ready. Like, the opportunities are there waiting for you, but often you're not ready to actually see it through. So think about that word and how it can impact on your creativity, or how you can, you know, as I say, make aspects of your life feel more remarkable, and journal about it, because it's when you get the time to reflect and to think about the things in your life, what you've done, what you need to do, what you didn't do. That's when you see the nuggets, the inspiration, the little hints and tips that you need to think about and apply to your life. So the question that we'll do the question in a minute. I wanted to tell you about, there's some, I told you there's some, not resources, but art courses that are coming up. Lifebook 2022, you can pre-book for that. They just had the taster session that was really good. 30 artists, they were all showing different aspects, you know, little taster, like bite-sized snacks of their work, and they were all either given, you know, a free course, a free downloadable, or discounts off their work. And there's currently a 30% off, so I've left the link below. You can check it out and see. If you haven't done Lifebook, I would definitely recommend that you do. So I started off as a Lifebook student, and then I taught. So this year I taught on Lifebook and did I haven't got them here, stitch piece for my bonus lesson, and a kind of 3D frame I know that fabric bandage, so I use a fabric bandage. Yeah. So I really enjoyed being a teacher on Lifebook. So yeah, there's 30 great teachers on the 2022 course, and you'll definitely see the link below. And the other platform I want you to check out is Trought. She's got a 30-day free access to over 100 classes, so I'll leave the links below for that. And of course, yours truly, I've got 2 courses. I've got How Does Your Garden Grow, which takes us out into the garden, looking at nature, plants, bringing it back in and using that to give us inspiration to make marks on our backgrounds. You know, because sometimes it can be very hard to think about what shapes to use. You know, you've got the obviously square, circle, whatever. But when you look at nature, you look at the leaves, you think, gosh, that's such an odd shaped leaf. If I break it down, wow, is that, you know, it's just made of lines and a curve. And maybe I can incorporate that on my paper. And so when you do that, you have some really interesting results. So that's How Does Your Garden Grow, and the playing card art. So we take a large playing card and we create a piece of art. And I can show you examples of other pieces of art that I've done here on playing cards, and it's really once you've learned the skill, you can just take it and, you know, run with it. And it's a nice way to use a different surface to create art. You can give them away as gifts, you can put them in an art journal, you can put them in a frame. You can do so much with them. So those are the things. Oh, my Etsy store, I'll leave the link for my Etsy store as well, and you can have a look at some of the papers. If you haven't yet subscribed to my mailing list, you can subscribe and either get a free taster pack of background papers. So sign up to the mailing list and you will get my batik or my circles taster pack, and you can see how you get on and use them in your art journals, or, you know, your anything creative, backgrounds or whatever, and see how you get on. So to close, we want to ask those questions. We want to ask that question that is asking you to dig even deeper. Now, the question is, how long have you been sitting in the shadows and playing small? And how long are you going to let it continue? Yeah? So how long have you been sitting in the shadows, playing small, and how long are you going to let it continue? So I'll just let you sit with that, think about it, and think about, you know, are there any areas of your life that you've been playing small? Are there any areas of your life that you've been saying, oh no, I can't do that now, I need to wait until the time is right? The time will never be right, yeah? So take that step now. Now, it's different if you're saying, well, you know, I'm writing a book and the book isn't finished, so I can't just publish it as is. So it's not that kind of, you know, take that step now and just do it. It's, have you been sitting on the idea of a book, you know, for years? Have you been sitting on the idea of a book? Have you been sitting on the idea of using particular supplies? Have you been sitting on the idea of finally taking up that creative activity that you've always wanted to do? Have you got this excuse saying, yeah, but I can't right now? You know, are you waiting for permission? Are you waiting for permission? Because I'm giving you permission, yeah? I'm giving you permission to take that step, to step out of the shadows, to do that thing that you've always wanted to do, the thing that you've been stopping yourself from doing, the thing that you've been hiding from. Take that step, whether it's going back to study, you know, I don't know why I'm thinking, getting your GED. Taking a course, taking a class, you know, using those supplies. Because some of them, look, I've got this, I had this, it's art bar in here, and it broke off. So I put it in here and I put a bit of water in, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to use it. When I should have just used it up on the paper, and now it's got mould in it. So I'm going to ditch it. I'm just like, I'm not touching it. I don't need the container anymore. But that's an art supply that doesn't work. You know, I've got, my Pro Marker pens and other things behind there, and I hadn't used them for the longest, and I was lucky that only say 3 or 4 had dried up out of say 150, but it's still money that I had to pay for those things that I didn't get an opportunity to use them. So are you sitting on supplies? Are you playing small? Are you stopping yourself from doing a certain creative activity because you say, oh no, there's not room for more than one? You know, do you know somebody else that's doing a particular style of work that you're thinking, no, I couldn't do it, even though I've got this passion for it, I couldn't do it because they're doing it. Step out of the shadows, okay? So that's your, I'll give you permission. Here's your permission slip. Actually, you can download, I'm going to do a download of permission slips. So you can write out these permission slips for yourself. You know, whether it's, okay, so I'm going to go for that walk, I'm going to do the exercise, I'm going to start eating, you know, I really feel like, Whole Foods, I really feel like that type of food, I really feel like, you know, some raw foods, some fresh vegetables. Nah, I'll do it another time. No, do it now. Yeah? That's what you're craving. That's what you're... So I'm not saying going after all your cravings, like I'm feeling like 3 bars of whole nut. But that's one thing I'm going to give up. That became like a... what was this, confession? Anyway, so think about what it is. What have you been holding back on doing? And I've given you permission. You've got a downloadable permission slip that you can use, and start living your best creative life. Because if you don't, who will? You know, if you don't start now, when are you going to start? If the situation isn't right, when is it going to be right? What needs to happen? Because there's always something happening. So you might just as well as start now as tomorrow. So we're going to leave you there, and I hope you can check out some of the links that I've left down below. The 30% off Lifebook, the Ivy Newton's site, my classes, Rachel's classes, my Etsy store, and think about what you're going to do for the next step of your best creative life. Take care for now. See you soon.